Did you know that every 11 minutes a woman is killed? Did you know that 6 out of 10 women killed intentionally lose their lives to intimate partners or family members? Did you know that in Nigeria, an average of 10 women are killed monthly? In honor of 16 days of activism against gender-based violence, I remember 16 Nigerian women whose lives were cruelly stolen. I remember 11-year-old Favour Okechukwu raped to death by 4 men while running errands for her mother. I remember 14-year-old Obiamaka Orakwe, who was raped and killed by intruders in her home. I remember 17-year-old Habiba Akinsanya, who was kidnapped, raped, macheted to death, and left on her father's farm. I remember 17-year-old Falmata Abubakar, murdered by her uncle in her home for speaking up. I remember 18-year-old Barakat Bello, who was gang raped and macheted to death in her home. I remember 20-year-old Rabi Hawalu, who was killed by her ex-boyfriend over a failed relationship. I remember 20-year-old Justina Inkang, killed by her boyfriend, dismembered, put in a plastic bag, and loaded in a wheelbarrow. I remember 21-year-old Augusta Osadia, killed, mutilated, and her corpse locked in the house by her boyfriend. I remember 22-year-old Uwaila Vera, who was raped and killed in church. I remember 22-year-old Glory Adekulore, who was raped, killed, and left in front of her mother's house. I remember 22-year-old Bamishe Anyowole, who was raped and killed in a BRT and thrown out of a moving bus. I remember 25-year-old Olamide Ali, who was tortured and stabbed to death by her baby daddy. I remember 26-year-old Iniobong Humoran, who was raped and murdered under the guise of a job interview. I remember 34-year-old Amdalat Afiz, who her boyfriend killed because she refused to loan him 2 million naira. I remember 41-year-old Taiwo Abodunde, whose husband defied a restraining order and beat her to death with their son's skateboard in her home. I remember 42-year-old Osinachi Nwachukwu, who was beaten to death by her husband. Women are not safe at home, on the road, in church, from their friends, with their partners or family members. As we move towards Beijing plus 30, let us unite to end violence against women and girls.